Now, concerning the poll taken by Newsweek magazine, I think you said that this was the leaders who said that, who went with King and against Mr. Muhammad around 90%. I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. And it is an honor, actually, that they endorsed Dr. Martin Luther King and were against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's actually an honor. Now, when you say that they also, in the same Newsweek poll magazine, I think the pollster said that he went into the Negro community and asked about the Muslims. And many Negroes whom he asked said, well, I never heard of the Muslims. Who are they? You know,
this is the rank and file we're talking about.
Now, when they got down to the rank and file, this was the answers that they got. This is equivalent to the situation in Kenya during the Mau Mau uprising, when many frightened whites in Kenya, Africa, would go among the Africans and ask them, what about the Mau Mau? And the African would say, I never heard of them. And the same white man who would ask the African this question and very naively believe what the African said, when he went to bed that night, he would lose his head. And usually the one who took his head was the same African who told him that afternoon he had never heard of the Mau Mau.
Except in the Newsweek poll, they used Negro interviewers.
You'll find that oftentimes Negroes are as much on guard around Negro interviewers, who usually represent the bourgeois element of Negroes, as they are on guard around whites. Usually Negroes know that when this bourgeois Negro walks through the door, he is not doing something that he's initiated himself, but he's involved in something in which the white man is the absolute author of and has sent him to the Negro community for some information. And when they give that Negro some information, usually they give him the information that they want him to take back to the white man, because that's who he's going to take it back to.
Yeah. So black celebrity worship is what we're here to talk about. You hear the legendary Malcolm X talking about how black celebrities are often used as pawns against the black community. Black celebrities are compromised. You got to remember, people loyalty go to whoever usually line their pockets. So that's what we're getting into today right here on Breakdown Friday. You see me, you see Professor Carl Tone Jones, you see Patrick Irvin. We are here to break it down one more again. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting us. Make sure you all hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, because we're about to get into it. As you already know, get your pen and pad out, put your seatbelt on, because we diving deep and we ain't holding no punches. We're here to keep it real. You know, our main thing about these breakdowns is taking the information that our master teachers give us, breaking this information down, make sure we're understanding this information, and then make sure that we use this information to better our lives, to better ourselves, to go towards nation building. We're builders of tomorrow. That's the name of my audience, that I name my audience, the builders of tomorrow. That's what we are, nation builders. So we are the builders of tomorrow. So let's make sure we're doing what we're doing. Let's make sure that everything we do is going toward nation building. Remember, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson talks about the unified field theory, which means everything is connected. Everything that you may think is an isolated incident, what goes on in the system of white supremacy, is a part of the bigger picture. Let's look at the bigger picture. Let's put the pieces of the puzzle together. That's what we're here to do. All right. So, PC, Pat, this is a historic clip, a very popular clip from Malcolm X talking about black celebrities, how black celebrities are often used, how they've been historically used by the people who line their pockets to basically deceive the black community. Start with you, PC. What are your thoughts on what Malcolm was talking about as far as when it goes to black celebrities, and how does that, in your opinion, how does that translate to the way we worship celebrities today, and the images that celebrities are, or the images that celebrities portray today?
Well, my screen froze up. I know my internet is trash. So, But
It's all good. Shout out to Metro.
but yeah, not. I wish it was Metro. Then I have a legitimate excuse, and I'd be saving a lot more money. But I totally agree with Malcolm. I've agreed with his premise way before I even heard him say it. And especially since I've been active on social media in the last 13, 14 years, one of the things I've been pushing is that we stop allowing celebrities to speak for us. I'll never forget the time I saw D.L. Hewley, and I forget who it was. It might have, I don't know if it was Tucker Carlson, but it was one of those pundits.
Bill Maher.
It might have been. And I think it might have been, O'Reilly, yeah. And I watched him mop the floor with D.L. Hewley. And D.L. Hewley is a very intelligent person, as far as I can tell. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but that's me with everybody. But one of the things I've realized is, see, you can't be a scholar, and that's your hobby.
Right.
And you're going against people who practice political science, people who have degrees in political science, people who understand how politics truly work, people who understand the fine details of history and understand how they mesh and how they go together. People who understand policy and what goes and how policy is created and how policies run. You can't do that if your full-time job is acting, if your full-time job is being an entertainer. This is, so, and no disrespect to Dick Gregory, who, I have a great amount of respect for, but Malcolm was right. You can't, these people live this shit. They live this every day. They move in this every day. So you can't expect to be on par with somebody for you taking time off for a show to go step up the mic for somebody who made a whole career out of the ability to debate you on these points. It just doesn't work. And what it does is it's very, very, very disingenuous, and you can tell like these things are put together in bad faith in regards to having these actors and entertainers and sports stars represent Black people in political spaces where they're ill-equipped to truly represent Black people, but the population of Black people is so enamored by their stardom and their fandom that they still look at these particular arenas, and now that becomes entertainment, which doesn't provide tangible gains for anything we've done. And in fact, it puts us in position because once they see how devastated these entertainers get, in terms of like the debates that go on, now you sort of like mush the whole argument, which probably was a legitimate conversation to have about a legitimate point that need to be made. So I'm all for what Malcolm said.
Yeah. What do you the second part? How do you think the image of Black people is, especially because the celebrities usually represent the image of Black people? So how do you think the image of Black people is in the world right now?
Well, I know the image of Black people. Black people are children of the world. Like that's something that has been widely stated throughout the for the last 400 years. Black people are seen as, let's just go way back now. Let's go back to the beginning of the colonization of Africa and the exportation of Blacks, Africans to America, and the colonization of the Africans who were in America already. You go back to those points, and whenever you read their narratives, it's always about we have to rein in these savages. We have they're childlike in their thinking, and we have to, remold them and sculpt them and shape them into being civilized people and things of that nature. That narrative has been, has turned into a self-fulfilling prophecy for us, because you see us trying to be that now. You see us living in that place where we do act like children, where when we've talked about it before, where we have an arrested development. So the whole world sees us as children, because if you're not nation building, and we're going to keep going back to this, if you don't take care of the necessity of the necessary policy types of decisions that need to be made, and you rely on somebody else to take care of that for you, well, then that means you need the assistance of a nanny state. Therefore, you are children in the eyes of those who have to be your nannies. So, and it doesn't help, because if you look into your famous, like rock stars, it's like children looking at the poster on the wall of their favorite superstar, you know, and then that person says something, that child lives by the words of that person. That's how we are these today. You got people literally having debates over whether Lizzo is too fat or not. And that's the conversation in our community. You have people bragging about the rights to wear their hair a certain way, and those are seen as political victories. But that's really minuscule. And when you talk about being in a world where you need to actually have access to power, we need to hold on to power. You need to fight other people for that power. That's a minuscule conversation, because if you have the power, then you built your own institutions, institute your own policies. You don't have to ask a damn person about wearing your hair any type of way.
Well, I mean, think about this. When Barack Obama was president for 8 years, the most that Black people could brag about, or did brag about, or celebrated, was the clothes, especially what Michelle wore, but the suits he would wear, the dancing, the slick sayings and stuff, all the celebrity type stuff. And you didn't hear Black people really commenting on the policies, on the actual work that it was doing. It was all the celebrity stuff. And it's like he gained a place in Black people's hearts through the celebrity and not through the actual work.
Yeah, well, and you know, I know Pat's ready to jump in here, so I'm just gonna say this about, you know, that you had gatekeepers. You had Malcolm spoke about the bourgeois class of Black people who made sure that they were the buffers between President Obama having to answer any significant questions from Black people who felt like he had an obligation to, to his delegates, that he had an obligation to put policy in place that wouldn't be removed in the first 30 days of the next presidency. We had people who got their pockets padded. And as Malcolm said, we should always be suspicious of the bourgeois Negroes, because they serve their purpose. And this is why we say it's children. Because as long as they got their privileges, as long as they got access to their toys, as long as they didn't give a damn about the rest of the community. And they blocked him. They actually put together a shield of bourgeois Negroes like Al Sharpton and all these other cats that and Oprah Winfrey, and I don't mind saying their names, who shielded him from having to answer any legitimate questions in regards to what Black people deserved, what Black people fought for, why Black people were breaking the necks to vote for us behind and get them elected twice, all those different things. So once again, we treated it like children.
See, I know where you went. I know where we went wrong, but especially you right there, right? Because you was thinking practical. You was thinking how you supposed to think. You thinking logical. See, you went deep. You went like you supposed to. You actually thinking. I ain't even go that far. We weren't even thinking that far. We was more impressed with what they wore than any of that.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Which is sad.
You sound real good at the Apollo.
Yeah. Pat, what you think about what Malcolm X was saying about the celebrities and how we worship the celebrities and how we worship the celebrities and the impact the celebrities have on us?
I mean, I agree with what PC said. I think as a community, the biggest problem we have, because we're not gonna
let it go.
If we jump right into solving problems, right? Because if I go into all of my frustrations, then I'm gonna basically echo everything PC just said. So, if we go into solving problems, then we look, man. We've been black long enough to understand the way black people operate, right? They love celebrities. Anybody that's in front of anything with a bunch of other people watching them, and black people is gonna be right there. You know, Barack Obama was a celebrity president. Michelle Obama continues to be a celebrity first lady, and even his children, who
Celebrities
are only really famous
for being
for being born into the right family. And kudos to me, because it took everything in me to not say that in a very foul manner. So I'm getting better. But their only real advantage, or their only real claim to fame, is being born into the right family. You have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of black folk following their every move. So my thing becomes, all right, if that's the way black people are, because we come from a group, a collection of social societies that place a lot of value on social capital, then how do we get those celebrities to do their due diligence? Because you look at, like, Malcolm X is a perfect example. Malcolm X wasn't a full-time scholar, but he had scholars on his team that he listened to, that he took advice from and counsel from. So those people that are in that spotlight, instead of at this point, instead of continuing to rage and rail and rally against them because they're not going nowhere, they have all of the clout. We could scream till we blue in the face. It's basically akin to LL Cool J when he got into the rap battle with, I just forget his name, Cannabis. Yeah. Cannabis had the better bars, but ain't nobody know who Cannabis was.
Right.
So LL Cool J won by default. Or we go again to KRS-One and the Nelly beef. By the time Nelly was battling with KRS-One, ain't none of the kids listening to hip hop knew who KRS-One was. So you had all of these. These are two great examples of people with superior skill and knowledge and ability railing against people with clout and being unsuccessful in the black community. What does that tell us? That tells us that railing against clout is pretty much a lost cause. So what do we have to do from there? We got to try to get the celebrities to start taking the advice of those people that have spent their entire lives studying something. You know what I'm saying? And I just like that, because I'm not trying to repeat PC, but I think that's where we got to go as a community. We got to get to a point where, okay, the masses are the masses. We accept that. But I'm looking at guys like J. Cole who are willing to learn from other people. Can we put him in touch with somebody? I'm looking at, but then I'm also looking at guys like Kevin Gates, who is growing a massive platform and don't got nothing of any sort of intelligence to say. And I'm like, how do we put this brother with that voice and that platform and that aura in front of people, or in front of people with sense, that he can then interpret their messages and spew it out? I think that's kind of where we got to go. Cardi B, Mary J. Blige, all of these people, because it goes back to what PC said, that I don't think any of these people are unintelligent. Like, I don't think any of them are stupid, but they're not equipped to be in the realms that they're in with the people that they're in them with. Like, yeah, to the average Joe, and this is no shot to Danny Glover or Donald Glover, because I think he is somebody that is an elder statesman in a lot of ways, but he spent a good chunk of his life as an actor. So to the average person, he does know a lot. But you put him in front of somebody that's the same age as him, that's been studying what he's talking about for all their life, he's not equipped for that conversation.
Right. I mean that it's like taking somebody who really loves to play football and then putting that person against somebody who's in the NFL who does this on a regular basis, and the skill level going to be totally different skill level, right? Because if I do this every day, I'm going to be better than you at it. I'm just going to be more talented, more learn, more research, more all those different things. This is what I do. This is what I master. You're going to be a better actor than me, and I'm going to be a better scholar than you, because acting is what you do. Scholarship is what I do. But I mean, I hear what you're saying, Pat, but my question for that though is, at the end of the day though, can we really
No,
trust celebrities at in
no.
any cost? Because I mean, I
No.
hear what you're saying. We need to, like, it would make sense to get the people who have the clout to, you know, have a
So
paradigm shift and get to this information. But we, you know, it's compromisation. They compromise.
now you put me in a situation where I gotta just be honest.
Go ahead.
We fucked. That's the honest truth. We're fucked. Because the community is not going to turn its back on celebrity worship.
Right.
That's not going to happen. It's not. Stop it. If you think it is, you're delusional. Stop it. It's not going to happen. Not only is that become a staple of Black culture, but it's become a staple now of American culture.
Right.
But the difference is, in a larger American society, when these entertainers start speaking about issues, they're actually referencing scholars. And when a largely Black entertainers speak on issues, they reference themselves or
Right.
other entertainers.
Well,
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's we like, so at this point it becomes, all right, those of us that know better build our little enclaves for ourselves and hope that it catches on and spreads out, because we can't trust the celebrities because they are compromised. We see how quickly J. Cole, whom I mentioned earlier, is at this point, he's backtracked on statements he's made, I want to say 4 or 5 times, because some smoke came to him through Twitter. Like, and so you're looking at a lot of these guys, and girls, they start to backtrack when that smoke comes. And the reason they backtrack is because they're not equipped to stand on their block against that kind of pressure. So at this point, it becomes a cycle. So no, we can't trust them. But no, we can't. The community's not going to stop believing in them. Umar Johnson never became as popular as he was when he embraced being an entertainer.
Yeah.